Hi, and welcome to the Azure News Recap for January 2024. And as always, we'll do retiring features, talk about what became into general availability, and we'll look at some preview features. Please be advised, this is not an extensive list. This is a list of highlights. If you want to see everything, go to azure.com/updates and get all of your updates right there. Starting with the retiring features, for this month there was only one, but it's an important one. So it's Cloud Services Classic being deprecated on August 31st, 2024. So that's this year. You do need to migrate over to extended support if you want to continue using cloud services. And that extended support, which is in Azure Resource Manager, will allow you to have extra capabilities like support for deployment templates, role-based access control, regional resiliency. So there's an added bonus to actually migrating over to that new form of cloud services. Please be advised, beginning the 1st of September of this year, your cloud service deployments will be stopped and deallocated, which means data will be permanently lost. So please, if you're still using classic cloud services, find a way to migrate those over into cloud services extended support. Okay, moving on to general availability, a lot has happened around Azure Load Testing. So first of all, it now allows fetching secrets from Azure Key Vault that has access restrictions. And think about Key Vault that's either behind a firewall or maybe in a VNet. You can now access those with load testing. Also, we have WebDriver Sampler plugin support. You can now create tests by adding an HTTP request, so you don't need to have a lot of knowledge of the testing tools. You can just paste in an HTTP request and create a test from there. Next to that, we now have up to 50 fail criteria for a test, which means that you can have now multiple failure thresholds across several requests and metrics. Then diving into Azure MySQL, single server is being retired by September 16 of this year, which means we now need to migrate over to flexible server. So we have the import feature, which facilitates seamless migration from Azure Database for MySQL single server to flexible server, and it's a single CLI command to migrate. So take that one into account. And then next up, a service we haven't been talking about for too many times on this series yet, but we kind of should, because Data Explorer is a very impressive service that we have for big data analytics and data storage. We now have 3 new geospatial functions in Kusto. One is for H3 cells, which means that you can now convert a polygon into a set of H3 cells. And this is useful for spatial indexing and querying. We have GeoAngle, which calculates the angle between 2 lines on the Earth's surface. This can be useful for determining the direction of movement or the orientation of a geographical feature. And then the last one is GeoAzimuth, which calculates the azimuth angle between 2 points on the Earth's surface. And that's the angle between the line from the first point to the second point and the line from the first point to the North Pole. So this can also be useful for navigation and direction finding. Next up, the Cosmos DB for PostgreSQL now allows customer-managed keys, which adds an additional layer of security by enabling encryption with customer-managed keys. So it enables you to bring your own key for your data at rest protection, and it allows organizations to implement separation of duties in the management of keys and data. Then next up, container apps. It now adds additional or allows additional ports on your application, and there's a set of requirements, so to say, about when and how to use those additional ports. I listed them on the screen. If you want to take your time and read them, there's a link in the group of links at the end of this video, so please go there if you want to read up a little bit more about this. But for now, we can only have ports be external if the app itself is external and the container app is using a custom VNet. It must be unique across the entire container apps environment, that port that you want to use. And the port will default to match the target port if the exposed port is not provided. Target ports must be unique. The same target port cannot be used on different ports, which is understandable. And for now, we have a maximum of 5 additional ports per app. Now, please be advised, built-in HTTP features like CORS and session affinity will only work on the main port. So if you're deciding to move your HTTP traffic away from the default main port and moving that to a additional TCP port, that means that built-in HTTP features like CORS and session affinity will not work. In Azure Monitor, we now have the Metrics Data Plane API, which seamlessly manages and monitors your Azure resources with enhanced query efficiency. Now, there's an API available for a lot of languages. I've listed most of them here on the screen. Again, if you need more details, please find a link in the group of links that we have attached at the end of this video, in the description, or that you can find on aka.ms/ANR-2024-01. Finalizing towards the preview features, we have the connector for Apache Link now in preview for Data Explorer. This connector is an open source project that can be run on any Flink cluster, and it attaches into Data Explorer, allowing you to use that data there as well. In Azure API Management, we now have Load Balancer and Circuit Breaker in preview available. Load Balancer adds the ability to create a load balancer that directs traffic between multiple endpoints. And Circuit Breaker actually adds the capability of configuring a circuit breaker property so that your backend services, for instance, could be protected being overwhelmed by excessive requests. Now, there's this huge service that's available out there, which is called Azure Business Continuity Center. It's now available across all regions, and it's a groundbreaking initiative designed to enhance your business's resilience across all regions. This will give you insight into protection estates. It will allow you to identify and protect resources. It will give you unified monitoring as far as business continuity and disaster recovery goes. There's even so much more to be found there. Please go find it. If you go to the Azure portal, you type continuity or business, it will pop up. You will see the Business Continuity Center available right there. You can click it, see what's happening, and it's a lot of information that allows you to actually at least check or maybe even improve your business's continuity across Azure regions. A lot has happened around functions as well. There we have a couple of things in preview. First off, we have distributed tracing v2 for durable functions, which allows you to correlate operations across services. And with Azure Durable Functions, that might be a really good addition because now this allows you to correlate requests as they are being processed by multiple instances of durable functions, for instance. Next, we have Java 21 support on Linux. So yeah, now you can develop apps using Java 21 locally and deploy them to Azure on functions running on a Linux plan. Azure Functions support for Java 21 on Windows will be added soon. And then last but not least, we have a new major version in preview for Durable Function Extension. And there's actually two key changes. The first one is it upgrades to the latest Azure Storage SDK. Please be advised, this may be a breaking change for some .NET in-process users. And then the second one is it now uses a new partition manager. This new partition manager in a benchmark has had a daily cost reduction of up to 93%. That's why the partition manager has been reworked, because sometimes it was kind of excessive in writing data into your storage account. So this new partition manager does go up to 90% in cost reduction as far as storage goes. So if you're using durable functions heavily and extensively, please have a look at upgrading towards the v3 version of its extension, which is now in preview. So all of the resources about updates that we talked about today, you can find at aka.ms/ANR-2024-01. That same link is under that QR code. If you want to see all Azure updates, go to azure.com/updates and find all updates there. Thanks for watching. See you next time.